I love my phones and I love my tablets, don't get me wrong, but what would happen if you took your phone and put it into your tablet? It'd be a great form factor for a lot of people. How's it going, guys? I'm Aaron Baker from PhoneDog.com. This is the ASUS PadFone 2. Now, it's been out for a while, but we're getting our paws on it in the PhoneDog offices and putting it through its paces in a full video review. Should this form factor come to the US and should it be available on a bunch of different carriers? We'll find out in the video review of the ASUS PadFone 2, which starts right now. It's a phone and a tablet. It's the ASUS PadFone 2, and it's awesome because it's a nice new form factor that I think a lot of people would really like. And it's not even that new. I mean, PadFone's been around for some time, but I would love to see this come across in the United States on more carriers and on more platforms. It's the ASUS PadFone 2. I just put it into the tablet, and as you can see, I get the phone experience right here. I'm going to cancel that update for right now. Phone experience right here on the tablet, making it really easy when I'm at home. Pop it down on the tablet, use the tablet as opposed to using the device while I'm sitting on the couch or while I'm at my desk. It's the ASUS PadFone 2. Special thanks before we get too far into this for Best Buy Mobile's help in our One Pawed Bandit giveaway game. When you walk into Best Buy Mobile, you'll walk out working. They'll help you set up your email, your web, your contacts, and settings. So whether it's something like the One or the Galaxy Note 2 or whatever you get at Best Buy Mobile, they'll make sure you're hooked up and ready to go. But quick specs on the ASUS PadFone 2, and special thanks to Negri Electronics as well. We bought it from them. They've got those in stock. They're around $800 based on my last price check at negrielectronics.com, and of course they are unlocked. Now, specs wise, out of the gate, this has Android 4.1 out of the box. So it's got Jelly Bean with kind of a customized version of Jelly Bean to fit obviously the PadFone specs. It has to be tweaked with special software to go obviously into the tablet, and it does have mostly a stock Android look and feel, though you see it a couple of times, or from time to time I should say, when you pull it out. Take a look at the notifications bar, for example. Very customized there. Obviously settings, stock Android look and feel. Recent applications, pretty stock all around here, but then of course you see some applications which we'll take a look at in just a second. So obviously here's the device, and really the device itself is really incredibly beautiful all around. So you can see this nice metal look and feel on the sides, kind of a tapered device. It tapers down as you get to the bottom, and you got your typical stuff here. 3.5mm headphone jack, got your micro SIM card slot right here, power button, volume rocker, camera on the back, which is a 13 megapixel camera with 1080p HD video recording, front-facing shooter as well, non-removable battery here. Say non-removable on camera, it is surprisingly hard. 2,140 milliamp hour battery in the phone, and then you have a separate battery in the tablet. Now, again, this is not a tablet per se, it's actually an accessory, the PadFone Station. The tablet is powered obviously by the phone. It's just a display basically and a battery when you look at it. 5,000 milliamp hour battery here in the PadFone Station, so you can either charge your device while it plugs in. So if this is at 100%, for example, you can set it to charge while it's down in the dock, and using select applications you can actually continue your work over onto the tablet when you pop it in, depending on the application. Messaging, for example, which I'll show you in just a second, you can take advantage of that. Now, though not quite sure why I'm seeing Edge on this device, because it does support, according to my specs, HSDPA on AT&T and T-Mobile. So not HSPA Plus by any stretch of the imagination, but still some relatively moderate speeds for an unlocked device. But you can see here on the tablet I've got Edge, and then of course my signal strength indicator, AT&T, and again a very customized look and feel around the notifications area right here. Now I can see on the phone 40%, excuse me, on the tablet 40%, accessory, on the phone 96%, and so it gives me that indicator. I've got my audio wizard here, and then I can see over here PadFone has 96%, PadFone Station has 40%, and it is not connected to a charger. Now when it's in the PadFone Station, micro USB charging port at the bottom, you've got a power button up top, and you can of course see the phone on the back, and volume rocker over here on the side. So a fully functional tablet when the phone is plugged in, with Android 4.1 obviously being powered by the phone. But back to notifications here, you can see a missed call and a text message, and I deliberately did those. That's my demo phone number for another device I'm working with. Wanted you to see what they look like on the tablet, and of course I can go in, and this is where I see a huge benefit for a device like this. You can go into phone, you can go into messaging, and you can do this while you're on your couch, or while you're at your office desk, or while you're at your home office, whatever the case may be, and you can take advantage of those applications. Now, it isn't without its bugs. I will say I've worked with the PadFone 2 for a couple of days now, and I have found there to be some bugs. It freezes up from time to time. Hopefully they'll fix that in later versions, or hopefully they have fixed that. The PadFone 2 is not the newest. There's the PadFone Infinity and the Phone Pad, which is coming out. But you can see here, I'll show you this, which I find particularly cool. Audio Wizard, Browser, Buddy Buzz, Calculator, Calendar, and I'll show you what happens when I click on these. multitasking, or at least as much multitasking as you're going to get for a tablet. I can load up the browser here, for example, and I should be able to move it around. There we go. Put the browser right there, and I can make it larger or smaller, and I can really multitask with this device. And then when I'm ready to go, just pull the phone right out, the tablet shuts down, and I can go along with my day. But it's obviously on edge, so pretty slow all around. PhoneDog.com will load it up and take a look at what it looks like both on the tablet and on the phone. And you can see PhoneDog loading up while I'm running my stopwatch, and I can do other things as well. Let's say calculator. Bring it up over here. We'll move it. 5 times 5 is 25. Yes, I still remember my multiplication. So PhoneDog loading up obviously on very slow edge, and what you just saw there was an ASUS customized keyboard here, and you see this on the phone as well. It's got a numeric pad up top. You see the same thing on the keyboard on the phone itself. The phone itself actually has a pretty nice display while I'm at it. Continuing along with the specs, a quad-core 1.5 gigahertz Crate CPU. You got a 4.7-inch 720p HD display, 312 ppi. It's an IPS Plus LCD display, which is particularly nice. Like I said, micro SIM card slot as well. 13 megapixel camera, so it can definitely compete even now, even though this has been out for a couple of months. It can definitely compete with some of the higher end devices on the market. So it looks like PhoneDog is starting to load up. Of course, I can pinch to zoom from the tablet, and I love this multitasking capability where I can continue along, load up browser, and then I can scroll between my home screens, and even though these stay up top, I can still get stuff done in the background, and I can still use pinch to zoom and a lot of my functionalities without going full screen. Now if I want to go full screen, I can complete the action using browser and continue there, or Chrome, which is installed as well, and I've got my different tabs up here. As you see, I can cancel those out if I want to. That one's taking its sweet time. And then of course right there, PhoneDog loading up Chrome, and then of course recent applications here as well, which I can swipe to remove. So again, a very kind of stock look and feel from the tablet. Google Now integration right up here in the top, and obviously since again we're on edge, everything's running incredibly slow. But your applications out of the box, a bunch of different stuff from ASUS. Now this I believe is Taiwanese. I believe this is a Taiwanese unlocked version, but you've got Hammy apps, Hammy music, Hammy book. I play a game with my cat where I grab its leg and I say ham leg, ham leg. So every time I see all this, I think of ham leg, Hammy. That's probably not what ASUS wants you to think about or wants me to think about, but some other stuff which I can't read unfortunately. And then you got your typical Google integration here, Chrome, Google+, messaging, and then of course my Bitcast, my desktop, a lot of different applications. We'll take a look quickly at some of these out of the box, but I want to show you this one in particular. Messaging, for example, I can read and respond to messages from the tablet itself. So I've got this, hello there. So I'll say hello. And let's say I'm in the middle of typing something, and I am happy, and all of a sudden somebody calls me and says you got to go. I can unplug it from the dock, and I am happy is still typed right there on the keyboard. Portrait to landscape transitions nice and fast. So I like that ability in most applications that are kind of relatively stock. The phone application, the messaging application, I can continue my work just by putting the device back down on the tablet, and it loads up the message right there. There. I'm happy there. I'm happy there. Good message all around. So you've got that feature as well. And of course, widgets on this, press and hold, can change my wallpaper, and then I can go in a menu and take a look at my pad-only applications, which I don't have any pad-only apps. Widgets as well. A couple of different ASUS widgets here. Task Manager, ASUS Battery, which is a good one. ASUS Weather. I find this one particularly useful. So we'll bring this over here. Taipei. And let's say Dallas is 25 degrees Celsius, cloudy right now, which is very true. And I can get my weather on the pad version of the PadFone 2. And then of course I've got my notifications down here. I can call back if I want to, and it should throw it on speaker. Let's take a look and see if it does that. Let's go ahead and call that and see what happens. Yes. And you can see it's running on speaker, and I should be able to unplug it directly and transfer it to the phone, and it takes it right off speaker and continues it over. So I can see an incredible use case for this, and it's honestly shocking to me that this has not made its way to the US with more carriers, maybe a Samsung device or an HTC device. I'm shocked that this hasn't come about in some way on some sort of OEM that operates in the United States. Granted, ASUS has some presence in the US with their tablets and with a couple of other things, and hopefully some phones in the near future, but I'd love to see this on like a Verizon carrier, carrier like Verizon or AT&T, where I can walk into the store, get my PadFone accessory, my dock, my station, whatever you want to call it, and then get the phone and plug it right down in. This would be great when I'm on the couch watching TV. I can type, respond, put it back down. I think there's a great use case for a device like this. Keep it locked on PhoneDog.com. In part 2, we'll talk speed tests, we'll talk network connectivity a little bit more, and some of the applications that are on the device, not to mention the camera. Stay tuned for part 2 of the ASUS PadFone 2 full review.